What's up, guys? Welcome to Punt Talk with Neil, episode number 9. Real quick, we are just going to kind of just conclude fantasy and get fantasy football out of the way. Obviously, there's some crazy stuff going on in the NFL. We all just hope Hamlin's okay, and he will be okay. Full recovery. So let's just knock this fantasy stuff out of the park and get on with our lives and hope Hamlin's okay. My podcast, I started this podcast around fantasy football and poker. So now that the season's over, I just kind of want to talk real quick about both my leagues, my future with one of the leagues because it is a keeper league. And then I don't know if you guys remember back in pod 1, I kind of did I broke down positions like a stud, dud, and someone you really should look at getting. We're going to go over those and just kind of compare right before the first game started on that Thursday night game to today and kind of see how I did there. Had some good ones, had some really bad ones, but hey, that's okay. We're human. So let's get right into it real quick. BYOB with the GGGs. As we all know, Chris had a great year. He might be comeback. No, he's not. No, he is. He's comeback player of the year. All right. I mark it in the books, put a tally mark. Chris is comeback player of the year. He has struggled in the past. Obviously, we've talked about this a lot. We all blame Darren McFadden for it. But anyways, Chris is comeback player of the year. He won his last 6 weeks to sneak into the playoffs. Quickly got booted by Garrett. I don't even think it was close, unfortunately. But he gave a hell of an effort. It's hard sitting here talking about it and bashing Chris when I'm DFL. I'm at the bottom of the barrel here, dead fucking last. So, but anyways, congrats to Chris. The championship game came down to my brother, Shamika Luck. I don't even know how to pronounce his team name. Shamika Luck. Shavika Luck. So, Shavika Luck versus... It's a great day to be the Trojan, Aha, and Mr. Jackson. Mr. Aha and Mr. Jackson out of Petaluma High. Aha was on a nice little hiatus. And, Pat and Matt came in, the Grinders. They got their name on the trophy. I'm going to bash Chris a little bit, actually. They got their name on the trophy. They were in for 2 or 3 years. What the hell's going on? There's one name not on the trophy. I think we can all guess who that is. But even Pat and Matt came in, do a little fill-in and got a trophy. They got a ship. What's going on with that? Get your TDs out. What's going on with that, Chris? So Mr. Aha, Mr. Jackson in the finals against my brother. Very, very up and down nail biter all weekend. It was back and forth. Came down to Monday night. Aha and Jackson needed 12 or more out of Gabriel Davis. And obviously, with the horrible news of the game, it's postponed, which it should be postponed, which is totally everyone agrees with. It needs to be shut down for now. We all need to focus on Hamlin, make sure he's okay. The guys decided, you know what? Screw it. We're just going to forget fantasy football. Like I said earlier, we're putting this in the past, putting this in the rearview mirror. We're doing co-champions this year. So congrats to Mr. Aha and Mr. Jackson and Adam, co-champions. I think it was the right decision and a good decision. Start of the match, it was 52-48 Aha. And when they stopped the game in the first quarter, it flip-flops to 52-48 Adam. So coin flip. Let's get them both on the trophy and make Chris's life miserable. So, Aha and Jackson's on the trophy. Adam's on the trophy for a second time. Adam had a very, very strong team. He obviously dealt with some sit-outs and injuries. Hopkins sitting now. Didn't know if Devontae Adams was going to play. Luckily, he plugged him in. He had Lamar Jackson still out. He had someone else. Oh, he had Henry out. So he didn't have if he had a full squad, he's beaten anyone in the league. But Aha and Jackson lucked out a little bit. They got a pretty even matchup. And I'm just glad we're all champions. So moving on to the second league, that's not as important. Money-wise, a little more important. But it's not as important to me. I mean, my league, where I dedicate my time and make sure I'm focused, is in BYOB. But Petaluma Punks, is with John Nice and my old boss Rob at Rooster Run. They have a lot of friends at old bartenders at McNear's. They started a Petaluma Punks League years ago, and one year they needed a team, so I joined. I want to say it was like 8 or 9, 10 years ago I joined. And down the road, people start trickling out. So like Smalls and Spock are in it. My brother's in it. So it's kind of like a old work Rooster Run crew and some of the BYOB guys. It's called Petaluma Punks. I made it to the championship game. And I needed 85 points. Just 85 from Burrow and Higgins. Obviously the game's postponed, which is totally agreeable. It should be. But I mean, I think I had a very fair chance of winning. 85 points? Like, that's not that many, right? 55 from Burrow, 30 from Higgins. That's doable. Well, anyways, I ended up taking second place, which is fine, but I will fight that a little bit because I think 85 points is doable. PPR, guys. PPR. Come on. So anyways, got second place in Punks, dead last in BYOB. But now let's talk a little bit about the future with BYOB. Because it is a keeper league, I just wanted to give you guys a little insight to my team. And I know I say this all the time, and I think I've had I don't know. I think 0 comments. I think 0. But just leave a little comment in the message bar here on this post on the Facebook page. Let me know. What do you think? The Punt Talk Facebook page. Come on, we need some activity. Let me know what you think here. So for the keeper leagues, we have weird rules, which is a whole nother podcast in itself. I don't agree with this, but hey, the tribe spoke. The voting went one way, so I'm dealing with it. But in our keeper league, the rules are you cannot keep anyone you drafted rounds 1 through 7. So the studs go back into the draft. You can keep anyone you drafted from round 8 and later, and you can draft them the next year in that round. So if you draft an Etienne at round 14 with a torn ACL like Smalls and Lefty did, they got him this year round 14. They get him next year round 14 because we keep a player on our team for 3 years, then he goes back to the draft. So stuff like that is a huge advantage if you want to have some guy sit on your bench for a year injured. I did that with Watson last year, but then this year it was looking worse. So I just ended up not keeping him, which thank God I didn't because he only played like half a game. At least his stats are only half a game worth. So who are we keeping, guys? So another rule with it is if you get someone off waivers that wasn't drafted round 1 or 7, because remember, if they were drafted 1 or 7, they can't be kept. If you get someone off waivers that wasn't drafted 1 to 7, or not drafted at all, they automatically are round 8. So last 2 weeks, started tanking my team because I didn't give a shit. I started dropping a bunch of people, picking up people for potential keeps. I picked up Ridley, which I think is a nice little get. So I could get Ridley next year, round 8, which could be nice. Jacksonville's looking good. Lawrence is looking good. I also have Olave. I have Cortland Sutton. I have James Cook in Buffalo. And I also have Herbert, running back for the Bears, which if Montgomery does not stick around, which the Bears might just, okay, you know what, peace out. Go, someone else can pay you. We're going to go with Herbert. Herbert might be a guy to keep. I think Herbert might even be better than Montgomery. So with keepers, I also have the number 1 pick being last place. So in the comments, let me know what you think. I'm thinking 100% Jefferson's already off the board. I'm going Jefferson. Boom. I got 8 months to talk about it or think about it, but I'm going right now Jefferson. Do I want to pair Jefferson, a nice little charcuterie board of Jefferson, Ridley, and Olave? Jefferson, Ridley, and Sutton? Or does Singletary and Montgomery leave? I got James Cook and Herbert. What do you guys think? I'm leaning towards Ridley, Olave, keep, draft Jefferson, round 2, 3, 4, worry about running backs, QB, and then let's go back to wide receiver. We got our wide receivers kept, drafted, stacked, ready to go. What do we think about that, guys? So that's a little info on the BYOB Keeper League and where I stand this offseason. Lines will be a little heavy for some QB and RB talent. You know, the P will for Prez headquarter lines will be going crazy for that round 2 and round 3 picks. We're going to try to figure out what we're doing here. But lastly, before we get out of fantasy, I just want to talk about some of the studs and duds and guys you got to get. I talked about week 1. So at wide receiver, I said dud, Tyreek Hill. No, that was a mistake. Not a dud. Tua sucks. He makes Tua really good. So not only is he good, but he makes someone else good. I mean, how many times does Tua underthrow this guy? But Hill has such a big cushion because he's so much faster than the defender that he can kind of fall back, catch, then hit the jets and get in the end zone. You know, every single underthrown Tua ball, no one else gets, but Hill gets. Gives himself a nice cushion to kind of fall back to get that shitty ass throw ball, and then takes off, gone. So, yeah, so he was not a dud. I was thinking going to Miami with Tua, he was not going to be that good. I said, well, stud. You know, I think I talked about Kupp and Jefferson, but that was obvious. Everyone knows that. Jefferson stud, of course. Maybe even an argument to be MVP this year. And then I said someone you got to go get who I thought was going to be a great match with Russell in Denver was Sutton. I said he might be one of the top target guys this year. Absolutely not. Russell Wilson sucks the biggest D, and I don't think he should ever be on a primetime game. Hopefully the NFL has learned this year. I don't know about you guys, but I've never seen so many just shitty primetime, shitty Thursday. I mean, Thursday games are never that great. Thursday games are always whatever. You know, it's a short week. They don't have time to prep or study the other team. Thursday games are always weird. But Thursday night games and primetime games have just been horrible. But they're getting, the NFL's getting it because they actually flexed, I think, Russell out of a primetime game like early in the season, like week 10 or 11. So they're getting it. Like, I don't think they normally flex that early in the season, but they're like, okay, we got to get this guy out of here. He's already had like 4 of the first 6 weeks he had a primetime game, and they were all horrible. Unfortunately, one of those primetime games, he did beat the Niners, but, you know, whatever. RBs, I said stud. Remember, I talked about this pod 1. I really wanted Dalvin Cook, and, like, I had, like, a crazy, like, breakdown. I just went, I was like, the clock was ticking. It was between Harris and Cook, but I knew in my heart I really liked Cook. And Harris. that was a bad move. I said Cook was going to be a stud. He has had some stud games, but Cook is not a stud this year. And this is what's tough about fantasy football and running backs, and I think this is why it's going to fantasy running back as years go on, it's just going to get tougher. Everyone's doing the two-head monster, right? You got your Montgomery, you got your Herbert, you got your Jones and your Dillon. You know, do I want to draft McCaffrey this early with Mitchell there? McCaffrey snaps are going to go down. You know, when you're drafting running backs in fantasy, if you're not getting your Ecklers, your Barkleys, your Henrys, maybe your Mixons, but I don't even like Joe Mixon, to be honest. You know, you're going to be running into a lot of split carries. There's only a few running backs nowadays that are the guy, Jonathan Taylor. Maybe you could put McCaffrey there because Mitchell's always so goddamn hurt. But, I mean, when Mitchell was in the 2 games with McCaffrey, Mitchell was getting 12, 15 touches a game. So, you know, it's tough. Running backs are tough to draft. But I said stud, Cook. No, not really. I said a go-getter was James Cook. I said middle of the season, they're going to start getting this rookie going, and he's going to be the guy in Buffalo. Like I said, he's on my team. I could keep him. Singletary is a free agent. But James Cook's put in a couple good games, but nothing crazy. You know, my go-get on this might have been a little off. Not great, but not bad. And then my dud, I nailed it right on the head. And this is one of my keepers, Cam fucking Akers. I kept him over Waddle. Yeah, I know. But my first podcast before the Thursday night game, Bills and Rams, I said Cam Akers is going to be the guy that when he's in, he's going to get you nothing. And when he's on the bench, he's going to get you 16. He's going to be the most frustrating fantasy player this year, and I might have nailed that on the head. Why I kept him, I have no idea. My whole thought was because I also had the option of keeping Waddle. I'm an idiot, okay? I'm sorry. But my whole thinking was I'm keeping Akers and Mitchell. I'm drafting a first-round running back, Najee. This is already all looking horrible. Now you know why I'm in last place. I'm going to keep Mitchell and Akers, draft Najee, and then I'm not even going to worry about running backs. That was my thinking. So now this year for keeper, I'm doing this. Maybe I need to rethink this. But now I'm thinking I'm just going to keep Ridley, Olave, draft Jefferson, and not even worry about wide receiver. Shit, do I need to rethink this? Maybe Jefferson's not off the board. Well, anyways, I said Akers was a dud. Complete dud. QB, I said you got to get him. Stud, MVP, Allen, Josh Allen. Huge man crush on Allen. Huge man crush on Herbert, who was my you got to get guy too. So my stud was Allen. The got to get was Herbert. Allen, first 6-7 weeks, definitely looking like an MVP. But now you got the Mahomes, unfortunately. You got the Hurts, even the Jeffersons. They're giving Allen a good run for his money because Allen, the second half of football, has been kind of like good. Obviously, he's Josh Allen, but he's kind of been like meh. Herbert was kind of banged up, really banged up wide receiver core. I still love Herbert, but didn't do as great as I was hoping. And this one, big dud. I said, this guy, finally, his time is up in this league. He's done. Week 1, I said, do not draft Aaron Rodgers. I think I was correct. I think my Rodgers and my Cam Akers ones were good. Good picks. Tyreek Hill, Sutton, Herbert, Cook, all those picks. Nah, not great picks, Neil. But that's okay. That's all right. So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch up on that because I thought it would be fun to kind of compare what I thought week 1 to now. Had some good picks, had some bad picks. But that's kind of it, guys. Fantasy football is over. So I got to think of some new content to talk about, which I will. We'll figure it out. Wanted to talk real quick about the 49ers. I don't know. There's this guy's podcast. I forget the name. But over the bye, he put out a podcast saying that the Niners had one of the best second half schedules and kind of broke it all down. And the guy's a genius. Like he said, the Niners have a really good chance at going undefeated this second half. Maybe some trouble with Miami and Tom Brady. Purdy put that to shame. He put that to bed. Purdy took care of business there. But yeah, I forget the podcast. I forget the guy's name. You guys might leave it in the comments if you remember who I'm talking about. But he had some great breakdowns on how much home time they had, so much little travel time they had. Team was starting to click. Defense was starting to look great. I forget the podcast, but he was spot on. Niners are very, very strong. I'm not scared of anyone, to be honest with you guys, in the NFC. I'm not scared of Rodgers. We know what we do to Rodgers in the playoffs. I'm not scared of the fraudulent Vikings and Kirk Cousins. And I'm not really scared of the Eagles. They're kind of banged up right now, right? So the people I'm worried about is if we get to the Super Bowl. I'm worried about Mahomes. I'm worried about Burrow. I'm worried about Allen. The AFC is very strong. NFC is kind of up in the air. I think, obviously the Niners are probably the favorite in the NFC. But right now, if you look up odds, I don't even know. Maybe the Niners are 1 or 2 to win the Super Bowl. Probably. But NFC kind of can go either way. But when it comes to the AFC, you're probably getting Mahomes or Allen, right? Burrow's there, but you're probably getting Mahomes or Allen. So, Niners looking great. Purdy, Jimmy, as much as we always want to like Jimmy, and we want, because he is a winner, he wins games, got us to the Super Bowl, gets us to the playoffs. God, it's just it's not hard to be a quarterback on the 49ers, right? So many weapons. Just keep it in play. Don't turn the ball over. Be accurate, short, accurate passes, and you're going to win games with this football team. Not much to ask for, but there's still every game. It was a couple question marks with Jimmy. It was Jimmy, what the fuck? What's that? Why are you doing that? Why are you throwing that throw? That's a horrible throw. That throw at Debo's feet just got him injured. That throw over Kittle's head just got him injured. So, I think Purdy has come in, and I think he's done a phenomenal job. When he came in, my panic meter was... When Jimmy got hurt, my panic meter was like, oh, shit. But then after watching a few plays and how confident and cool and collected Purdy was in the pocket after that Miami game, my panic meter was going back to cooling down. It wasn't that hot. It was cooling down, and it has stayed very cold, which I love. Purdy just... coming out of college, he doesn't have a strong arm. But the guy he is a little, I don't know if he's fast, but he's quick, right? He can get out of the pocket and get away from a quick sack and make a play. He can make short, accurate throws. That's what we need. Let Debo, let Ayuk, let McCaffrey. Oh my God, the list goes on. Let Mitchell, let Kittle, let these guys catch the ball and do their work. You don't need much out of a 49er quarterback right now. And I only think winning games and getting to the playoffs with all the hype this rookie is getting, I think he is just going to be set up for success. And just having these guys around him, if he doesn't have them in the future, these guys around him right now is going to give him the confidence to be a really good quarterback in the NFL. I'm hoping, obviously, 49er fan, I'm hoping that he stays on this pace and he just plays smart, small ball football, right? Like, keep your spirals tight, which unfortunately Trey has trouble with tight spirals. Keep your spirals tight, keep them accurate, let the dudes do the work, and you will be rewarded. So, I love Purdy. I think he's doing great. Very excited for the playoffs. Very excited for the Niners right now. Just please let's all just stay positive and healthy. Last thing before we get out of here, I think I've mentioned something about Safeway before, and I know I mentioned about the Starbucks Safeway, but I'm just not a fan of Safeway. I don't know what it is. It's just like always so busy. No one is friendly. No one wants to help you. People in Safeway look like zombies. I don't know. It's weird vibes. I don't like Safeway. But I was in Safeway the other day, real quick before we finish up this episode, and I'm in line, but I'm in line like in the aisle because the line's a little too long where people walk like horizontally. So I'm in the vertical line to get to the counter, but the horizontal aisle right behind it. Sometimes you got to back up into the aisle to let people walk through you. Maybe you don't know. Maybe I'm explaining this horribly, but I was standing in the aisle. And this old man walks up and sneaks right in front of me. He doesn't see me, so it's okay. Sneaks right in front of me and just goes whoop right in line. And I'm like, "Oh, sir, I'm in line, sir." And he had I think bad hearing. He had oh my God, hearing aids. Jesus, he had hearing aids, and so I don't think he heard me. And he only had like two things. So I was like, whatever. Just let it go, Neil, let it go. It'll take 2 minutes. So he's in line, and I get up there behind him. I'm putting my stuff on the counter. He's got like cheese and beer or cheese and wine. Nothing. He's got nothing. And he goes, can I have a small bag of dry ice? And I'm just thinking, here we fucking go. So the register at the woman at the register was like, "Oh, this is only like my second week. I don't know what that's in the computer as. Do you think it's under ice or do you think it's block of ice?" Like she's asking him, and he's probably like 75, going, "How the fuck? I don't work here. Like, how do I know what this is under?" And she's like, "Block of ice," and he's like, "I don't know. It's dry ice." So she calls management over. They go and get some dry ice. And they put it on the thing, and they weigh it, and they're like, "Does this look good?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's about the amount I want." They put it, and they weigh it, 30 pounds, or $30, 3 pounds, I think, or something. It was $30. And he goes, I don't want to spend $30 on dry ice. So now they got to, like, take some out and re-weigh it, and they go, $12? Like, will this amount work? And he's like, yeah, that'll do, I think. So then he's done, right? So then she starts ringing in my stuff. And I'm like, "Oh, no, sorry, that's my stuff." And she's like, "Oh, oh, I'm sorry. And of course it was like a 4-pack of beer was the first thing she rung up. And she's like, oh shoot, I can't return alcohol. I gotta get management over. And I'm going, oh my God, why did I let this guy in line? So this 2-minute delay is now turning into a 20-minute delay. And then the woman behind me goes, oh, excuse me, sir, before she rings you up, can I just ask her a quick question? And I'm like, sure, yeah. So then the dry ice guy gets out of line. I'm up, and I go, oh, excuse me, man, before you ring my stuff up, this woman has a question. Oh, yeah, okay. And then the woman walks over. Do you have any, she said, like, needle nose sewing string here? Like, needle nose sewing string? What is it? And the woman's like, oh, this is like my second week. Let me get help. So then she calls for help. Flags help down to go help this woman find some sewing string. And I'm just sitting here going like only me, right? Like only me. So anyways, which I thought would be a 2-minute delay of getting out turned into like a 20-minute delay. So there you go. But that kind of stuff is what happens at Safeway, I feel like. Like just horrible luck. But anyways, I'm going to go, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I don't like to go over like 20, 25 minutes because I don't want to bore you guys. Hopefully this was a good one. Episode 9. I am going to be getting together with AHA. Hopefully Chris and Jeff this weekend. So we might do a little like, dual or trio podcast again. Like I said, you guys love to leave comments in the comment bar on the comment boxes in Facebook. So please leave a comment. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Let us know if you have like a Punt Talk 5 you want us to talk about. We can do a little top 5 something. Just let me know in the comments. I know the comments are usually just like, usually I can't keep up with them. The comments are just flying on the Facebook page. So anyways, leave a comment. Let us know what you want to talk about. Maybe leave a comment about my keepers, what you think. Other than that, have a great day, everyone, and thanks for tuning in. Punt Talk with Neil, episode 9. We're out.